The world watches with bated breath. The post-Cold War order lies shattered. A new era of great power competition has dawned, fraught with uncertainty and peril. From the battlefields of Ukraine to the tense Taiwan Strait, the fault lines of this new global order are starkly drawn. The spectre of war hangs heavy in the air. Russia's invasion of Ukraine has shattered decades of peace in Europe, unleashing a humanitarian catastrophe and raising fears of a wider conflict. The flames of conflict threaten to engulf the entire world. Meanwhile, the rivalry between the United States and China intensifies, fueled by economic competition, technological advancements, and ideological clashes. The two superpowers are locked in a delicate dance, seeking to assert their dominance without triggering a catastrophic confrontation. The stakes have never been higher. The future of the international system hangs in the balance, caught between the forces of cooperation and the pull of conflict. The choices made today will determine the course of global affairs for generations to come. The foreign policy approaches of Presidents Joe Biden and Donald Trump stand in stark contrast. Biden, a seasoned statesman with decades of experience on the world stage, has sought to restore America's global leadership through diplomacy and multilateralism. Trump, on the other hand, adopted an unorthodox and often isolationist approach, prioritizing American interests above all else. Biden has been a vocal critic of Trump's foreign policy, labeling it modern-day appeasement. He argues that Trump's willingness to accommodate authoritarian leaders like Vladimir Putin has emboldened them and undermined the international order. Biden points to Trump's summit with Putin in Helsinki in 2018, where he appeared to side with the Russian leader over his own intelligence agencies on the issue of Russian interference in the 2016 election, as a prime example of his appeasement strategy. Furthermore, Biden has condemned Trump's decision to withdraw the United States from the Iran nuclear deal, arguing that it has made the Middle East more dangerous and increased the likelihood of a nuclear arms race. Biden has also criticized Trump's trade war with China, arguing that it has hurt American businesses and consumers while failing to achieve its stated objectives. Biden's criticisms of Trump's foreign policy reflect a fundamental difference in worldview. Biden believes that the United States has a moral obligation to lead the world and promote democracy and human rights. Trump, on the other hand, views the world through a transactional lens, prioritizing American interests above all else. The crisis in Ukraine has brought the contrasting foreign policy approaches of Biden and Trump into sharp relief. Biden has taken a firm stance against Russia's aggression, providing military and humanitarian aid to Ukraine and imposing crippling sanctions on the Russian economy. He has also worked to rally international support for Ukraine, uniting NATO allies and partners in condemnation of Russia's actions. Trump, on the other hand, has been criticized for his ambivalent stance on Ukraine. During his presidency, he withheld military aid to Ukraine and repeatedly questioned the country's importance to the United States. He also expressed admiration for Putin, calling him a strong leader and suggesting that Russia's annexation of Crimea was justified. Biden has warned that Trump's appeasement of Putin has only emboldened the Russian leader, leading him to believe that he could invade Ukraine with impunity. He has argued that the United States must stand firm against Russian aggression, both to support Ukraine and to deter further aggression against other countries. The war in Ukraine has also exposed the limits of Trump's America First foreign policy. Trump's decision to withdraw the United States from the Iran nuclear deal and the Paris Climate Agreement, as well as his trade war with China, have damaged America's relationships with key allies and undermined its global leadership. This has made it more difficult for the Biden administration to rally international support for Ukraine and other critical issues. In addition to his controversial policies, Trump's rhetoric on the world stage has also raised concerns among foreign policy experts. His statements about acquiring territories like Panama, Greenland, and Canada have been met with bewilderment and alarm, seen as evidence of his disregard for international norms and his willingness to use American power in reckless ways. These statements, often made off the cuff and without any clear strategic rationale, have fueled anxieties about American intentions and undermined trust in its commitments. They have also played into the narrative, peddled by adversaries, of the United States as an imperial power bent on global domination. Biden has criticized Trump's territorial ambitions as dangerous and irresponsible, arguing that they contradict American values and undermine its standing in the world. He has stressed the importance of diplomacy and cooperation in international relations, rejecting the use of force or coercion as a means of achieving foreign policy objectives. The contrast between Trump's rhetoric and Biden's approach highlights the importance of leadership in shaping global perceptions of the United States. While Trump's pronouncements have often sown confusion and distrust, Biden has sought to reassure allies and partners of America's commitment to international order and its role as a responsible global leader. One of the most significant casualties of Trump's foreign policy has been the transatlantic alliance. Trump's repeated attacks on NATO, his imposition of tariffs on European goods, and his withdrawal from key international agreements have strained relations with America's closest allies, eroding trust and undermining cooperation on critical global issues. Trump's attacks on NATO, which he has called obsolete and a bad deal for the United States, have been particularly damaging. He has repeatedly questioned the value of the alliance and pressured European allies to increase their defense spending, suggesting that the United States might withdraw its commitment to their security if they fail to meet his demands. Biden, who has long been a staunch supporter of NATO, has moved quickly to repair the damage done by Trump. He has reaffirmed America's commitment to the alliance, increased U.S. military presence in Europe, and worked to reassure allies of America's unwavering support. However, the scars of Trump's presidency run deep, and it will take time and sustained effort to fully restore trust and confidence in the transatlantic relationship. The future of the alliance and the broader international order it underpins will depend on the ability of the United States and its European partners to overcome the divisions sown by Trump and forge a united front in the face of new and emerging challenges. Section 6. A Legacy of Leadership. As the world grapples with the fallout from the COVID-19 pandemic, the war in Ukraine and the escalating rivalry between the United States and China, the need for consistent and principled American leadership has never been greater. Biden, with his decades of experience in foreign policy and his deep understanding of the complexities of the international system, is uniquely positioned to provide that leadership. Throughout his long career in public service, Biden has consistently championed the importance of diplomacy, multilateralism, and the promotion of democracy and human rights. He has worked tirelessly to build and strengthen alliances, to resolve conflicts peacefully, and to advance American interests abroad while upholding American values. Biden's decision to step down from the 2024 presidential race, while understandable given his age and the demands of the office, is a loss for the United States and for the world. His steady hand, his deep knowledge of foreign policy, and his commitment to international cooperation will be sorely missed at a time when global challenges demand experienced and principled leadership. Section 7. A World Adrift. The absence of consistent and principled American leadership has created a vacuum on the world stage. Adversaries like Russia and China have seized upon this vacuum, seeking to advance their own interests at the expense of the rules-based international order. Russia's invasion of Ukraine is a stark reminder of the dangers of a world without American leadership. Putin, emboldened by years of Western appeasement and the perception of American decline, calculated that he could invade Ukraine with impunity. His miscalculation has plunged Europe into its bloodiest conflict since World War II and shattered the illusion of a post-Cold War peace. China, too, has become increasingly assertive in its neighborhood and beyond. It has built military bases in the South China Sea, threatened Taiwan with invasion, and cracked down on pro-democracy activists in Hong Kong. Beijing's actions have raised concerns about its intentions and its willingness to use force to achieve its objectives. The erosion of the rules-based international order has also emboldened other authoritarian regimes and non-state actors. From North Korea's nuclear provocations to Iran's support for terrorism, the world is becoming an increasingly dangerous and unpredictable place. Section 8. The price of inconsistency. The inconsistency and unpredictability of American foreign policy in recent years have had a destabilizing effect on the international system. Allies have become uncertain of American commitments, adversaries have been emboldened, and the rules and norms that have governed international relations for decades have been undermined. The Trump administration's America First approach, which prioritized narrow national interests over international cooperation and often relied on unilateral action and coercive tactics, alienated allies and eroded America's global standing. Trump's withdrawal from the Iran nuclear deal, the Paris Climate Agreement and other international agreements damaged America's reputation as a reliable partner and undermined its ability to lead on critical global issues. The Biden administration has sought to repair the damage done by Trump, reaffirming America's commitment to its allies and to the rules-based international order. However, the legacy of Trump's foreign policy will continue to cast a long shadow, and it will take time and sustained effort to rebuild trust and credibility on the world stage. The price of inconsistency in American foreign policy has been high. It has emboldened adversaries, alienated allies, and undermined the rules-based international order that has underpinned global peace and prosperity for decades. Section 9. Towards a principled peace. The world stands at a crossroads. The post-Cold War order has collapsed, and a new era of great power competition is underway. The future of the international system and the peace and prosperity it underpins will depend on the choices that the United States and other leading nations make in the years to come. The United States, despite its recent missteps, remains the world's most powerful nation. It has the capacity to shape the international order, to defend the rules and norms that underpin global peace and security, and to lead the world towards a more just and sustainable future. However, American leadership cannot be taken for granted. It must be earned through consistent and principled action, through diplomacy and cooperation, and through a willingness to work with others to address common challenges. The United States must also be willing to confront its own shortcomings, to acknowledge its past mistakes, and to work to repair the damage that its actions have caused. Only then can it hope to rebuild trust and credibility on the world stage and lead the world towards a more peaceful and prosperous future. The path ahead will be challenging, but the stakes are too high to fail. The future of the international order and the well-being of billions of people around the world depend on the choices that we make today.